Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to the people online, whatever time it is for you. We know that a lot of you are sacrificing sleep, and of course some of you have sacrificed a lot of time and are jet lagged. So we're excited. We have a very wonderful session with many great speakers. So today's topic is research data stewardship in the Asia Pacific, what is happening now and how to move forward. And of course, we want to do an acknowledgement of country, especially the first Australians on whose lands that we're enjoying ourselves, and we're the beneficiaries of their past stewardship, and we acknowledge that. Okay, so it's wonderful that we could be together for this topic. A lot of organizations are trying to move together to adopt research data management practices and support, especially for data-intensive research. But how do you do that for organizations? How do you do that for researchers? And how do you do that in support of scientific impact? And so what's the right mixture of top-down, bottom-up, and some of us even have this new model, middle-out. We'll discuss that a bit today. And we'll also hear from different institutions in Asia Pacific who have started to adopt some of these ideas, who have frameworks and novel approaches that we can all learn from. And so we have 5 presentations, and after each we'll have time for a question or two, and then with any balance remaining in the session, we'll have some discussion. So if you have a burning question after each, feel free to raise your hand, and if we don't get to you, there will be time. Okay, so first up, I'd like to invite Pei-shan Liao and Meng-nan Lee, who are here from the Academia Sinica in Taiwan, tell us a little bit more about their practices and challenges in RDM.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Pei-shan. My colleague is not here, so I'll be presenting this on behalf of SRDA. Today, I would like to talk about some practices and challenges in research data management in SRDA. Okay. So here's the outline. I would like to first make a brief introduction to SRDA, and then talk a little bit about research data management, which is the main thing of this session, and finally to discuss with you some future challenges that we are facing. SRDA is, or the full name is Survey Research Data Archive. It was established in 1994 and funded by Academia Sinica and National Science and Technology Council in Taiwan. SRDA is responsible for data archiving, data management, member services, promotion and utilization, and system administration. SRDA is a research infrastructure for the humanities and social sciences. We have 4 missions. The first one is to gather social survey data sets in Taiwan. The second one is to set and standardize workflows and ensure data usability. The third one is to safeguard data security and ensure long-term archiving. And the last one is to provide data free of charge to the academic community, although we have a membership required. So why is research data management important, or why does that matter? Research data management refers to the process of systematic planning, collecting, organizing, storing, sharing, preserving, and disposing of data throughout its data life cycle. It helps data to be findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. That means it adopted the FAIR principles. So proper data management enables others to verify results, and then enhancing the transparency and credibility of scientific research. So RDM, or research data management, protects valuable research outputs, maximizes values of collected data, and prevents duplication and data loss. It enables data to be reused, supporting cross-study integration and the exploration of new research questions. So it's research data management is increasingly required by funding agencies, journals, and international standards around the world, but it's less required in Taiwan currently. So standardizing management protocols and formats facilitates data interoperability across different parties. So I have just mentioned that research data management is a process across data life cycles. I just want to let you know what we see as a research data life cycle in social science research. A data life cycle involves different stages, including the planning, creation, management, use, sharing, collection, reuse, and destruction of data. It's important, I think it's quite different from other disciplines that some social science data will be deleted or disrupted. It is therefore important to manage data well during data lifecycle in order to ensure compatibility with the FAIR principles. So how to apply FAIR principles in research data management for social science research? First, data should be easy to find. So by giving it clear identifiers and good metadata, we make it much simpler for others to search for the data, to locate the data, and to understand what the data is all about. Next, people need to be able to access the data. So having clear access rules and protocols means that others know exactly how to get the data, or at least how to reuse or request apply for the data if it's not fully open. Then the data should work well across different platforms and systems. Using standard formats and vocabularies helps make the data compatible so it can easily be combined or compared with other data sets. Finally, we want the data to be reusable. So when it has clear licensing, good documentation, and reliable quality, other researchers can confidently use it again for new studies or for applications. So how do we implement research data management in SRDA? Before I talk about it, the SRDA's experience, I would like to briefly introduce the type of data commonly encountered in social science research. They are mainly quantitative data, qualitative data, and metadata. Quantitative research data including survey data, demographic data, behavioral experiment data, etc. For qualitative research data, you can probably imagine like in-depth interviews, field observations, text analysis, or audio-visual files. And for metadata, they are information describing the research context, participants, or questionnaires, data formats, data of file creation, etc. These are the main data in social sciences. But in SRDA, we mainly curate quantitative or survey data. So there are several data management strategies adopted by SRDA. We promote the implementation of research data management. We support the development of online data management plan tools. And we standardize metadata and data formats such as DDI, DOI, or schema.org standards. And we strengthen data security and privacy protection. So we have tiered access to data, or we might de-identify some parts of the data if it's like sensitive or with personal information within it. We develop data archiving and sharing platforms, and we establish data management and service teams for social sciences, data sciences, and information science. These strategies have been applied to the implementation of SRDA's missions. So I'll describe them in more details about how they are implemented in SRDA's 4 different missions. For the first mission, data collection, data collected by SRDA are primarily quantitative research data, such as survey data and statistical data sets. So for data collection, common formats are required not only for data files and documents, but also for metadata. Data usage authorization ensures the proper and legal use of survey data. And for the second mission, processing, data processing. Standardized procedures are applied to check for consistency between data files and documents and identify potential errors. The identification processes are implemented to ensure data protection, including completely removing direct identifiers and applying the for variables that have sensitive information, it may be re-identified or combined with other data. For the third mission, privacy and sensitivity classification, data are classified based on sensitivity levels defined by data regulations domestically and internationally to ensure the protection of privacy, so we may have high sensitive data, medium sensitive data, or low sensitive data. And for the final mission of SRDA, for data preservation, the first one is long-term accessibility. We ensure future discoverability and interpretability of data through persistent identifiers such as DOI. And for data integrity and authenticity, we prevent unauthorized modifications, preserve original records, and maintain version control. For format sustainability, we use open or non-proprietary formats with format migration as needed. And for metadata and documentation, we provide DDI metadata, coding books, and data user guides. For data security and preservation, we maintain multiple backups, conduct integrity checks, and comply with ISO information security standards. For access and use policies, we balance data sharing with legal and ethical restrictions. And finally, for organizational commitment, we require stable infrastructure, financial support, and certifications such as Court Trust Seal. There are still challenges that we are facing now and will be facing in the future. For a stable, for the maintenance of data infrastructure, such as SRDA, we need sustained funding and resources. We have it now, but we have to apply for funding periodically. So for the long-term operation, we require administrative support and stable continuous funding. And currently, we still have insufficient metadata in some key fields, especially in English versions. So that will reduce query coverage when users are searching for data in SRDA. And the third one will be the limited willingness among social scientists to share their data. Also, there are lack of incentive for data sharing. That's probably the biggest challenge we are facing now. And finally, for risk consideration for sensitive data, even without direct identifiers, cross-linking may re-identify individual data. So fully anonymized data on sensitive issues also carry inherent social risk. We are working to, or we hope to resolve these challenges, most of the challenges in the near future, but yeah, there are more things to need to be worked on it or through collaborations. Thank you.
let me just see if there's a question or two before we move on to our next speaker. And I can also invite the next speakers when they're ready. They can kind of come up to the side here. But please, any questions?
Thank you. I'm Susan Smith from the Prince Charles Hospital in Brisbane, and I work as a clinical research coordinator, so I'm interested in data stewardship in health. And you were mentioning the problem about re-identification of data if it is linked, which is a problem that is recognised in health data use as well, and that it's an issue of risk and managing the risk. I'm curious if you're aware of any research that has investigated the actual relinkage incidents, whether that has actually occurred, to measure the actual risk rather than perceiving it as a feasible risk, which it is. But what evidence is there that this occurs with research linkage? Are you aware of anything like that?
Thank you for the question. But unfortunately, I don't recognize any this type of research in Taiwan. Although our staff in SRDA recognize this kind of issues or risk when they are dealing with the data sets, because during the process of data checking for consistency or the to prepare for the metadata, they sometimes find this type of data sets. For example, we have one data set surveying professional baseball players many years ago, when we had only 4 teams, 4 different professional baseball players. And it would be easy to identify individual players if you cross-tab some of the characteristics of these individuals, right? And so our staff or SRDI find this type of questions or issues during the process of data management, like checking or documenting the metadata. But unfortunately, we don't have a research on this, and we don't really know how or have an evidence to see how risky this kind of information is. So this is probably we need to know in the future. Thank you.
And we do have one question online, so maybe we'll take this one and then we'll go to the next speaker. And apologies, since you're not here to say your name, forgive me for butchering it, but Antje Mansky from the Leibniz Institute for the Social Sciences asks, do you already have experience of how the data in the archive is being reused?
Yes, thank you for the question. We do have the record for how many data have been downloaded using the Google Analytics tools from our websites. And we also do annual member surveys. But the response rate is not really good, so we actually rely on the website usage data to know how many data have been downloaded. And we can also check the record from each individual members, because there are different types of members in SRDA. For the public data sets, per individual with a valid email can apply as a web member, and they can download directly. They can download the public version data directly from the website. But for other types of membership, they can apply or download for more different types of data, but they have to register for their data download. So we do have the records for this.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's give Dr. Liao a hand. Thank you. Okay, and now I'd like to invite up Yasuyuki Minamiyama. Sorry, I will let you reintroduce yourself, and Shoichiro Hara. We're here from Kyoto University and the University of Tokyo.
Thank you very much. So this our presentation has two parts. The first part is done by myself, and last part is presented by Professor Minamiyama. Okay, so this presentation is a part of our new project. So first, I will give you a brief overview of the project, which focuses on an international exchange program related to research data management at Kyoto University. Then I will introduce the current RDM activity at Kyoto University. And finally, so we will talk about the preliminary outcome of our subject. So through these three parts, we hope to share our effort in building international collaboration in the field of RDM. Okay. First, so our project is titled "Support for Constructing Research Management Schema in Vietnamese University and Research Institute." It's a part of Nexus YTech program run by the Japan Science and Technology Agency, or JST. This program primarily supports young people under 40s in Southeast Asian countries, including students, researchers, and instructors. This year, we sent RDM experts to Vietnam to train researchers at the Vietnam Academy of Social Sciences and Vietnam and Japan universities. Through this, so we aim to build the human networks and promote the future joint researches. Next, I will introduce the current RDM activity at Kyoto University. So research data include many meanings, but at Kyoto University, we use the term research data into two main contexts: research integrity and research data management. In research integrity, the research data means materials that form the basis of published result. In research data management, it refers to all data collected or generated during the research process. So data for research integrity is actually a subset of the data managed under RDM. So it's also important to remember two things. First is that not all data need to be shared publicly. Now also, second is that good data management does not mean keeping everything forever. Currently, three organizations play a central role in RDM at Kyoto University. One is the Institute for Information Management and Communication, or IIMC, the main library, and the Research Administration Office, or we call KURA. In early 2024, three organizations jointly launched the RDM Support Center. The center offers consultation for researchers, develops some rules related to RDM, and organizes a training session for faculties. This collaboration has enabled the university to provide more consistent and effective RDM support. For researchers, there are two main gateways to Kyoto University RDM services: the IIMC and the main library. The IIMC offers an online storage services called RDM Drive, which was launched in May of this year. Its main features are as follows: is that it allows researchers to store and share their data. But its capacity is that each project can use between 2 to 20 gigabytes of storage. So it is free of charge, but it is within this fiscal year because this year is a trial stage. And as for its eligibility, currently the services are available to faculty members only. And the main library also provides a research data storage service. It started in 2019 and uses a university institution repository named Kurenai. In the system, users can upload research data as evidence supporting their publications. Users can also choose whether to make their data open or closed. The service is free of charge, but each data capacity is less than 5 gigabytes. By 2026, the IIMC and the main library plan to integrate their systems so researchers can manage the data more seamlessly across both platforms. So, and in Japan, not a Kyoto University, in Japan, so RDM service can be divided into 3 levels. It's my consideration. So at the national level, we have a Gakunin RDM operated by the National Institute for Informatics. It supports a collaborative data management, but faces several issues, such as limited storage capacities, less than 100 gigabytes per user, or restriction on external storage linkages. And sometimes it's instability, not stable, and supported limited, and uncertainty about the future cost and pricing models. Now, at the university level, for example, Kyoto University service Kurenai, as I mentioned, but it also has some limitations, also as mentioned. So that's why institutional support is also important. In the case of Center for Southeast Asian Studies, Kyoto University, we have developed my database to help address some of these problems, especially for humanity and social sciences. This is also some sort of display about my database system, but shortly speaking, so my database and the easy-to-use database builders. Good things about this database is that it can accept many databases, many kinds of metadata schemas. And it provides an API for creating advanced GUIs. So before the present current project, we organized another international collaboration using my database. This project name was RSDA, the Research Small Data Alliance in East and Southeast Asia. So 18 institutes from 9 countries and areas took part, including libraries, museums, and archives. Together, we discussed how to share our experience and knowledge about research data management in these regions. As its main product, we developed an inventory metadata schema and inventory database system using my database. This has a good result, but unfortunately, we have faced a significant problem because many members were unclear about what data they have, who has it, and where and how it was stored. So we learned that understanding the current situation of the research data in each institution is essential before building RDM platform. That's why in our current project, one of our key goals is to clarify the current RDM environment in this region. So its result will be presented by Professor Minamiyama.
Okay, hello everyone. Here, thank you. So I will take over from here. So I'm Yasuyuki Minamiyama from Institute of Social Science at the University of Tokyo, Japan. So from this slide, I will show our efforts for understanding current situation of RDM in Japan and Southeast Asia. これでいきます。Okay, so in Japan, Kyoto University was the first to formulate a data policy and develop RDM services, so showed by Professor Hara. So, however, research data management was still a new concept for many Japanese universities and research institutions. Sorry, so at that time, for most institutions, it was not clear what service could be established to make this concept a reality. To overcome this situation, 3 different kinds of communities, such as libraries, IT centers, and policy think tank, have been leading a large-scale survey for analyzing RDM current status and trends. Okay, for the survey, we compared various models and developed a new model to assess the maturity of RDM services. The model allows for 5-stage maturity assessment on 6 dimensions. So awareness, data policy, budget, services, user needs, and IT infrastructure. So for more information on model development, please see our paper from the URL. And so based on the model presented on the previous slide, we have been conducting our research since 2020. The survey is conducted every 2 years with 300 to 350 institutions responding each time. The major survey items are basic information, understanding user needs, and so on, based on the maturity model. So due to the time constraints, I will introduce some key findings in the RDM services. So in 2024 survey, we can find some trends or characteristics in Japanese RDM service development. For example, significant progress was made between 2022 and 2024 in developing the organizational structure, such as data policy formulation and budgetary measures. In terms of RDM services, more than half of the universities began to provide a data storage service for research data. And also, data management plan creation support has started in response to Japanese policy requirements. If you are interested in the survey more details, so you can find the analysis reports for each survey. Unfortunately, only Japanese, but so this report written in Ikeuchi, my colleague of here, there. So if you're interested in more details, please contact her. And so, by the way, in the Nexus project, derived from previous AXIS JP Core 9-step questionnaire, we are trying to make international comparisons based on this initiative. We conducted our preliminary research mainly in the Southeast Asian region because our team members are deeply involved in this region. The photos shows interviews with the Vietnam Academy of Social Sciences and an international workshop at the Pacific Neighborhood Consortium PNC. At the PNC, we conducted a brief questionnaire to find out how RDM services are progressing at the participants' institutions. The host country was Vietnam. We have also prepared a Vietnamese version of the questionnaire. And this slide shows an overview of the questionnaire, where we received 36 valid responses from participants in 10 countries, including Japan. This is only a preliminary survey. The number of questions has been significantly reduced from the Japanese survey. We limited to 10 items, focusing on IT infrastructure. And so in the remaining time, I will present some findings from the preliminary survey. And this slide shows the results from Q6. We asked broadly about demand for RDM services, with Asia Pacific as a whole showing high demand for preserving research data and low demand for DMPs. But so interestingly, DMP tops in Japan. Why? So we consider as DMPs influenced by Japanese government policy. Probably we need to understand the policy requirements or trends in each country. Probably it's different. And so for designing the appropriate questionnaire in the future. And I will show another slide, so the comparison within the Asia-Pacific region. So in Q3, we asked about the purpose for which storage was deployed. So compared to the situation in Vietnam, there is no change in the overall Asia-Pacific priorities, but the provision of temporary storage and data analysis appear to be particularly high in Vietnam. The following comments are only my personal perspective impression. So, but an interview conducted in July Vietnamese members mentioned the expectations for international joint research using Vietnamese historical archive data. So such factors may need to be taken in account. Okay. Oh, sorry. So back and forth in sequence, we conducted an interview survey on RDM trends with Vietnamese stakeholders. We intend to combine the results of the preliminary survey and the interviews to build an international comparison framework in the future. Okay, so our presentation is final slide, the conclusion, project background, and research data management at Kyoto University, and I will show the current situation of RDM in Japan and Southeast Asia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, yes, and please stay here. And so while people are thinking about what question they might want to ask, I want to give a shout out to one of our online people. Again, I'm going to do my best, Avirichai Tanapat, who joins us from, let's see, APAN and Tyren. They also said that they're looking for a collaboration to expand their efforts and supplied their email address. So you can just find this under Q&A in the app if you want to see more details about Avirichai's outreach. Okay, any questions for our speakers? I have one, actually. That was really impressive. I wish we had something like that for our region. You had that slide that compared the needs of people in Asia Pacific versus Japan and some of the differences. Could some of the differences in DMP demand be accounted for by funder requirements? Like, is it a funder requirement in Japan and
Yes, so actually, so Japanese requirement for DMP is only a funding requirement and also government policy level. Yeah, so first government policy requires for how to implement the DMP policy for funders. But so now in this situation, so universities required to support DMP creation, and funding agency requires so the DMP format. Only format. Okay. Probably so other country has other requirement for the government.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll move along to, oh, sorry, Kevin in the back has a question. Oh yeah, we've got time, Kevin, it's all good.
Thanks very much. Kevin Ashley, Digital Curation Center. I was intrigued when you presented the kind of split of services between national level and institutional level at Kyoto. I know, what little I know about Japan, I know Kyoto has been one of the leading universities, I think, in thinking about research data policy and setting up services. And your description there of what's at national level suggests that that's clearly, you feel that's not enough and you have to do something locally. That must be true of many other universities in Japan as well. Do you think, are others all trying to do something similar to what you've done at Kyoto, or are some people saying, no, we should make the national service better?
So actually, just my experience that and NII also organized some research project, for example, use case project. So they asked some researchers who are using Gakunin RDM, join together and share experiences. But unfortunately, there are many other problems. But I think the big problem is the low capacity system. Also, I am also applied that use case, but I am rather a social science humanities, but even though I have more than 5 GB data, original data, if I use a machine translation or some LML analysis, this data expanded to 10 GB or 20 GB. It's impossible to store a Gakunin RDM. So the problem, in the case of Kyoto University, so IIMC provides more than 5 terabytes. It looks like too big, but actually not so big for natural sciences. The problem is that this data is difficult to link is Gakuni RDM. So this is another problem. And I hope that NII will solve our compliments.
That was a great question. Well, thank you so much to our speakers. I did want to ask you while we invite up the next speaker, could you please point out your colleague again who has the full survey? You said someone was in the audience that could give the rest of the survey, if interest. I thought you pointed out to contact a colleague in the audience. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, all right. And so our third presentation will be Sune Go and Willie Ko, who are here from Nanyang Technical University in Singapore.
Thank you very much, Christine. Hi, everyone. I'm Suni from the Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. I work in the library. Together with me, there is Dr. Willie Ko, the Director of the Research Integrity and Ethics Office, also from NTU Singapore. So today, we'd like to share with you our journey towards a fairer data management plan. So some background on the DMP in our university. We launched the University Research Data Policy in 2016 together with the data management plan requirement. So in this requirement, every research project will require a DMP submission in the grants management system. Without it, the PI will not have access to utilize the research grant money. With the university implementation, it means that the PI will need to use the university DMP template within the system to prepare how they are going to go about with preparing the data towards fair data by adopting the fair data principles. So, and the template also guides them in preparing the non-sensitive data to be shared along with the fair data principles. So a big motivation behind it is largely research integrity. We want to make our research reusable, trustworthy, and hence there is a lot of emphasis to make it reusable. So if we were to take a look at the numbers, this is the set of numbers we've gotten for the calendar year 2024. We have received more than 1,600 DMPs using the university template submitted within the system. All the data gets into a CSV format, and then the school level administrators will have access to the school level submitted DMPs. So this is an overview of what we can see at the university level. So as you can see, that a large portion goes to our engineering schools under the College of Engineering. That is about 24%, followed by the individual research institutes and centers that we have across the campus, and then followed by the College of Science and then Medicine. Okay, so with that kind of volume, you can see that there's really so much emphasis to get the DMPs up in a timely manner. So the research data librarians conduct quarterly, an hour and a half online DMP workshops for our new faculty joiners. Some of them might be appointing new research team members to come, so they could include research staff as well as PhD students. Sometimes we might see master's students, but less so. So what we hope the participants will walk away with at the end of the workshop is that they would be able to describe the benefits of having a DMP, apply the best practices when answering the questions, and then to be able to understand ways to implement and update the DMP. So we have a DMP LibGuide provided by the library, and we try our best to refer to best practices that we curate from around the world. So if you Google us, NTU DMP LibGuide, you will be able to find us. We are now into the 3rd version, so we provide question level guidance and samples. You will be able to see that there is quite a fair bit of MCQ options. So it's a mix of open-ended questions as well as MCQ options. So to enable fair data is looking into questions like where the data will be shared. So it comes with an MCQ list of options, whether you're going to share it at the university's open access data repository or an external repository, because the university policy says that you can choose, depending on the best practices in your subject area, and sometimes journals might specify where to save. So if there are no specifications, then share it on the university open access data repository. We have the DRNTU data, that is the name of our open access data repository, is built on a local installation of the open source code software Dataverse that is maintained by Harvard University. The other question that we ask, when we look at the data ethos, about, you should make your data as open as possible and as closed as necessary. So the other question that is asked is, where will the data be stored if it's not to be made open access? So we do have a list of university-approved closed data storage platforms. In fact, there is a finder, a navigator within the intranet that asks people a couple of questions, like, for example, are you going to use the closed data storage for collaboration or for more than 10 years? Do you have data residency requirements, etc.? So as you go about checking off the answers to the questions, you will see which are the suitable remaining options that you could consider. So another important part is to see how to make that data interoperable and reusable. So it asks questions like, in addition to your original file format, are you going to make plans to have it in alternative or additional open and non-proprietary file formats? What kind of data documentation? In fact, for this data documentation question, it comes with MCQ options. All right. Which data sharing license is very much aligned with the university's research data policy that recommends CC BY-NC if you don't have obligations to use otherwise, other types of licenses. An example of the other types of licenses that you may need to use would be when you're reusing someone else's code or software, then you might need to observe the terms and conditions of those software license. Fair data in action. So we did the Singapore Open Research Conference end of last year, and we gave away some awards during the conference. It was a national level initiative, and this example is this Associate Professor Thibault from the Nanyang Technological University School of Biological Sciences. If you were to look at a zoomed-in portion of the poster, you will see that he provides ready access to underlying data in his journal paper. So it comes with a data availability statement that tells people that, the gene data is on this link, available on this link. And then the data set is available on this Dataverse project, which is the university's open access data repository with a DOI link. And then it comes with a code availability statement as well. So these are the things that we were looking at when looking through the nominations. The replication data for the journal paper is where we take a closer look at how the data files are organized. So they are, in this specific instance, he has quite a few data sets. He has quite a few journal papers with data availability statements and code availability statements, but this is just one example. So in this particular instance, he has organized it by the figures in his journal paper. All right, so for there are this RNA sequence data analysis, he provided step-by-step guide on to guide users on how to replicate the RNA sequences. And he has got, if you take a look at his open code, he also has documentation to teach people how to reuse it, how to execute the code in the RStudio software. Okay, now I'd like to invite Willie to share with you the second half, when fair is not enough.
Okay, thanks, Suni. So Suni has done a great job in NTU in promoting FAIR principles and promoting open science and open access in our university. But then there's, in recent years, there's an increasing focus on research compliance as well as research security. So now the keyword when we go to any conference is research security. How are you going to secure this? How are you going to secure that? So in the university, me and Suni, we are like the yin and the yang. You know, we are the polar opposites. She's trying to share data, and then I'm trying to secure data in the university. So a few examples of history of what happened in our university. So we had the research data policy in 2016. So there's requirements on a 10-year data retention. And then 5 years after that, also our research policy is also available on our website, so anybody can access. And then recently we launched or implemented the data governance policy, which spells out requirements on to label the data, where to store it, how you're going to transfer the data, and then if somebody leaves the university, how you're supposed to hand over the data to somebody so that the data doesn't get lost, etc. And then what made it even worse was that in NTU, we have an internal audit office, and then the auditors will come down and check, oh, are you complying with the 10-year retention? Oh, are you storing the data with a password or with encryption? Oh, your staff has left, you know, has the person handed over the data over? So there is this constant inspector, you know, within the university trying to look at whether we are complying with our own policies. And then last year, we launched even a newer policy, you know, because research security is the catchphrase now. So we have to protect and secure our data. You know, even internal people, we cannot share with anybody internally. And of course, externally, you can't even do that, right? So unless there is a data transfer agreement in place. And then we also got national legislation, so personal data protection, I think most countries will have it. And then last year, the Singapore government enacted this Cybersecurity Act. And then what it means is that usually they designate, you know, the financial companies like banks or transport companies, you know, like the train systems or public utilities company or the airport system. So these are all designated special cybersecurity interests. And then last year, they also started to designate the local universities similarly. So the university is required to step up our cybersecurity at a level comparable to a bank. So that's a lot of effort and a lot of spotlights on the university right now. So plan for a fairer DMP. So what happens is that our PIs and our researchers, sorry, click next. Right. So our PIs they have no idea on how to share their data, so they also do not have any idea on how to secure their data. So we decided to leverage on our DMP system to guide our PIs on to identify their sensitive data and then how to secure the data after that. So this is a multi-department effort. Sorry, there's a little bit problem with the alignment. So there are 5 departments across the university looking into this, how to make the DMP fairer. So our current DMP, of course, is based on the FAIR principles. No need to elaborate on that. So we propose the addition of E and R, ethical and responsible. So the ethical is to guide the proper handling of and securing of personal data in some human subject research. Responsible is for the PIs to be more responsible in securing their sensitive research data. And in terms of approach, so previously the PI will self-determine the data, and the updated approach is that there will be some kind of a logic and algorithm built into the DMP. So the workflow is triggered based on the type of data that they select. So as an example, on the left, the current DMP will ask the PI to select, oh, is this human subject data, or is this industry, commercial data, etc. And then the PI is then supposed to tick, you know, is it open, is it restricted, confidential? Now, of course, our PIs will have no idea what it means to be restricted and no idea what it means to be confidential. And sometimes PIs will just tick everything, you know, just to get through this DMP planning. So what we have done now is to ask what kind of data, if you have national security related data, then the DMP will choose the classification for you, right? If you have a patent or commercializable data, then the DMP will choose the appropriate workflow for the PI. And then we were recently reminded that there's this CARE principle, so that's why we thought we combine some elements of the CARE principles, and then we just have one acronym, which we call it FAIRer, so that it's just easier for everybody to remember. So it's not only just about sharing the data, but it's also about responsible securing of your data as well. So invite Suni back for the summary. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Willie. So in summary, okay, this is not done yet, basically. Okay, so it is a plan. It is an aspiration. Our current DMP system is part of the grants management system, which is using the software called FIBI. So it's not able to meet some of our requirements. So we are trying to see how best to work within the constraints and what else can we explore. But our aspiration is to come up with a refined version of what we have, not just for FAIR, but to take care of the E and R. So especially with those internal, as in audits, as well as external forces, like the cybersecurity entities designated by the government. So we are also trying to see how we want to learn from the CARE principles about collective benefit, authority to control, responsibility, and ethics in what we are doing. And yeah, like what Willie said, we came up with this single acronym, FAIRer. Hopefully that we can try to move towards the next steps in a nimble and agile manner. So that's the end of our presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that. And it's easy to remember. I appreciate that. Any questions for our speakers? Oh, one in the back.
Hi, my name is Lisa Lehtzel. I'm with RDA Europe. And I had a question about the data management plans, because the 2024 figures of 1,600 data management plans was really impressive. I wanted to ask about do you also do any follow-up to see how those data management plans are put into practice by the researchers? Do they actually follow the data management practices that they choose or declare in the data management plans?
Thank you very much for that question. Fortunately and unfortunately, we have the in-house inspector mentioned by Willie to help us with that. So the Internal Audit Office engages the PI at the DMP level, goes through the question, asks for a citing of the evidences based on their responses to the DMP. So if there's any discrepancy, an observation is recorded. Yeah. Question? Yes.
Oh. Sorry, Elizabeth Newbold from the Science and Technologies Facilities Council in the UK. So that's interesting that you review through your internal audit process. So when people submit their DMPs, do you actually check that it's an appropriate DMP? I know you're talking about automating it in the future, but I just wondered about what you do currently.
Oh, thanks for that. Very difficult, but easy to respond to question. Yeah. Why easy? Because the answer is no, okay? So no one's looking at it, no one's approving it, but internal audit is the one that is really doing the in-house inspection, and then the audit exercise is done once every 2 years, right? Yeah. So, there's no approval process. Willie, you want to add on?
So indeed, there is an expectation on us, the central office, to review all the DMPs that were submitted. But we push back quite hard on this because we say that we do not have the subject matter expertise to look through all the different disciplines across the university. And also, the objective of the DMP is really to provide the PI as a guide. It's a guidance tool. So we keep saying that it is not a compliance tool. So stop using it as such. Yeah.
And just one last quick question to the gentleman here, and then the others we'll take at the end.
Okay, thank you. My name is Elisha Chuang. I'm from Cape Peninsula University of Technology in Cape Town, South Africa. A slight diversion. I just want to know about first the uptake. What is the kind of response from researchers in terms of sharing their data sets on the repository? And then secondly, is the policy, does it have a compulsory mechanism, or it's more of incentivization of researchers to share their data on the repository? And then the inspector, are they inspecting also to enforce the policy, or it's just the standard side? Thank you.
Okay, the repository. That's a very good point. I think we should do that. We have not looked at how big a portion are saying that they're going to save it on the open access data repository. I think that's something that we could look at how to bring the data to take a closer look. But when they say that they're going to save it on an open access data repository, there is a field that asks them for the DOI. So at the very beginning of the project, they wouldn't have the DOI yet. So they can leave it blank or say to be determined or to be updated later. But the audit will also take a look to see that if the project has closed, then the DOI should be there. So if it's not there, they will question the PI, why don't you have a DOI in a DMP? So the DMP is not just asking where you are making the data available after the project, but also the DOI, all right? So that helps a lot. On the second question, could you repeat the question about the policy, whether is it the requirement or to incentivize data sharing? Is that your question? Then, I see, okay. Yeah, thanks for that. The data policy encourages as open as possible and as closed as necessary. So as long as you're able to articulate the rationale, the reasons behind both in the DMP, it's fine. All right, so if you say that you're applying for patents, of course that takes time. And then the thing is, once you've gotten your patent, then you should share the data, right? So you should make your data sets on an open access data repository findable, for example. Does that answer your question? So it's as open as possible and as close as necessary. As you know, that is how the policy rationalizes it. Yeah. Ah, okay.
So I was saying the overall uptake. What is in your repository in terms of the visibility of the research data sets generated from the university, whether on the institutional repository or on a disciplinary specific outside the institution.
Oh, I see. Okay. It's likely to be a mix, as we can see from the fair in action example. We can see that the data set is made available on the university repository, so there's a static capture, but at the same time, the code and the gene data, they are elsewhere. So that is fantastic, because by making the code available on GitHub, you can allow others to fork it out and then make their derivatives reusable, things like that. But the static capture with the DOI in the university's open access data repository helps with the underlying static capture of the data sets for the paper. So in the DMPs, people can pick multiple options into the question, where are you making your data available after the project ends? So they can select quite a few. I could select open access data repository, university open access data repository, the university's closed data system. So you could choose a few. You don't have to do either one. You do a few, okay?
Well, let's thank our speakers. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, and now last but not least, and I don't know if you showed this. Yes, coming soon. Yeah. The Singapore Open Research Conference 2026. So watch for last quick chance to take a picture if you need to.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. And now thank you, my colleagues Tyng-Ruey Chang and Hilary Shiue. And I always have a few of your stickers that I carry in my backpack. They have great fair stickers for your laptop or notebook. But without further ado.
Hello, I'm Tyng-Ruey Chuang. I will present this slide with my colleague, Hilary Shiue. He also helped organize the entire session. I will talk a little bit about a project we do in Institute of Information Science, Academia Sinica. It's called Deposita. Deposita is a general purpose data repository. He has a long history, and you may wonder why in the Institute of Information Science, a national research organization, we run a data repository, not in the library or not in other institutions. It's a general purpose repository, so it's not specific to some academic discipline. And it's also an open repository, so anyone can register for an account to upload and manage their data sets. So it's a little bit like a Genodo, but we are a very small team. In our team, we only have 5 persons, including me. 2 are technical staff. One is a project manager, and another one is a research data specialist, Hilary, and another is working part-time as an official manager. So anyone can register for an account, and you can upload your data. It's free. So it has a kind of a community feelings. And currently, there are about 3,000 data sets has been uploaded and shared, and we have about almost 500 projects. So people can register and organize themselves as a project, and it's a project. They can share data together privately within project member, or they can open the data to the public. So it's a little bit like a GitHub for data sets. Not for code, but for data sets. And we approach this repository, we call depositor, as an information system, and we develop technology around them. So there are 4 kinds of users for our service. Across the topmost is individual research, a research team. So they can manage their data set, and if they want to publish paper, or even data paper, they can deposit data set here, and they will get a persistent identifier, internal ARK, archival resource keys. Another class of users are educators, so they deposit their course material to be shared with students to the general public. And the third class of user actually is non-profit organization. So they collect data that wish to be shared to the general public, and when they need a place to manage their data, they can use our service. And the fourth class of user actually is small business or company in Taiwan, because when they are doing business with some government agency, the agency will have requirement that at the end of your contract, you must release a report to the public, and those small company or business, they will look for a repository for them to release this report. So it's a generalist repository. Anyone can use. You can use. Just register an account, and we have term of use and the privacy policy that was in place like 4 years ago. So we approach it like information system project, and I think we opened it in year 2018, 7 years ago. Why we opened it to the public to use? Before that, we have 2 small projects funded by the National Science Council in Taiwan. So we do a data sharing platform only internally for the project member. But the project ended in 2019. So we, around 2018, we realized we are not going to get new funding, and we are not going to get new users. So why not just open the service to anyone to use and see what will happen? So at that time, we come out with this name called depositor, which in Portuguese or Spanish means to deposit. It's a verb. And the depositor is the place that you deposit something. So we are very happy with the name. And luckily, at the end of 2018, we received some encouragement again from the National Science Council, asked us to submit a new project application to support the Department of Natural Science and Sustainability Research at the National Science Council, because they need expertise on research data management. So because we already have a research data repository, so they think that they can use our expertise to extend to the scientific research community in Taiwan around about research data management. So that's why we somehow get revival. And so we are at the end of 2 rounds of funding, 6 years. Now we are very lucky to enter the 3rd round of funding for another 3 years. So I would like to highlight a few things we do. For example, in year 2022, we implement ARK, such that each data set deposit to our repository will have a person identifier. why don't we use DOI? Because DOI is too expensive for our small teams. And ARK, we can be independent, and we can identify as many and as tiny as we want. And 2 years ago, we implement a binder. A binder is kind of online computational notebook, can be launched by anyone. So currently in our repository, when you deposit a data set, you can also attach a Jupyter notebook as a part of the data set. And on our repository, when you open that data set, go to the web page, when you click the binder button, the Jupyter notebook will load into our computation cluster, and he can run the program on the data in the data set. So we are very proud of doing this. Our system is based on CCAN. It's an open source platform for data sets. Primarily used in the past as open government data, that kind of platform. But that kind of platform is for government agency to deposit data set to the public. But here, we allow the public to deposit data set for the public. So that's a main difference. I think now I will turn over to Hilary about the research data management activity we do.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hilary Shiue, and just thanks Professor Zhuang to introduce our software. And I'm very new to this team, so I want to add that a lot of people in the past has completed what I'm gonna introduce later. So this is, for example, one of the statistics page that is just recently published and is made by Lifang Wang and Chenzhen Li from our lab. So one of them is only a student in master program, so it's pretty impressive. And as you can see that as of September this year, there are about 3,000 data sets on depositor right now. And from the trend of the figure, you can see it has a steady growth over the years since 2018. And other than software, we also in the lab do a lot of policy advocacy work, and this is mainly through networking and connections with people who also care about research data management in Taiwan, which may be a small part because we don't see a lot of very fundamental requirements for these in our policy. And one of the examples is that in 2018, Professor Zhuang mentioned that the Department of Natural Sciences and Sustainable Development of the National Science and Technology Council, NSTC, in Taiwan, during a workshop about RDM, reached out to us to see if we can introduce some RDM ideas and introduce DMP and open science to Taiwanese researchers. So based on that initial connection, our lab started to get more in contact with NSTC, and this may play a role in the department of NSTC to include some DMP policy in their guidelines. And currently, this department of NSTC is the only one who has written policy of DMP in Taiwan. And for data management, for database projects within their project grants, they are required to include a DMP plan, a DMP in their proposal. And for other projects, people are encouraged to write one and include in their proposal, and they can put some of the guidelines in how they are using some funding to their DMP. And other than that, we also do some research data management events. For example, we publish some articles each year on RDM Hub, where we share information on research data management trends information. We also interview some of the researchers in Taiwan to see how they do data curation and how their life cycle of their data looks like. Last year, we also had our first RDM webinar in English, and these are targeting international researchers and students in Taiwan because some funding contexts may be different from other countries, so we thought that this may be meaningful for them. And other than that, we collaborate with other institutions. For example, Taiwan Biodiversity Information Facility. We have workshop each year for the past few years. And there's a trend that we noted is that many university reach out to us to see if we can introduce open science, RDM, and DMP idea to their students. So we observe that university libraries in Taiwan may have limited capacity for research data management. And moving forward, we still have a lot of work to do, and for this, I will return to Professor Zhang.
Okay, let me, just to be honest, in Taiwan, there's a lack of top-level research data policy. As Hilary just mentioned, that only in one department of National Science Council, there's a requirement of research data management plan when people are submitting project application. Actually, it's not a requirement, it's an encouragement that they encourage you to also provide DMP. And if the project is funded, a portion of the grant will be dedicated to the project team for data management. Because there's a lack of top-level research data policy, so when it translates to institution, to research performing organization, usually that organization either in university or in institution like academia sinica, there's no full-time staff helping researcher working on DMP or RDM. So our lab, by running a community grassroots bottom-up research data repository in a very dedicated positions in that people will come to us to ask for help. So we are more familiar with community-based outreach, open source, open data, and open repository. So that's our foundation. But at the same time, we need sustainable financial support. So now we are in the beginning of 3-year funding running this project, but we are very aware that by the end of this 3 years, we either have to become an institutional support facility, like Academia Sinica will support us to run this, or we have to transition into a community-based facility, meaning that we will be supported by a broader research community. So that's the questions we are facing now. I think that we end this presentation with Hilary. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions for our last speaker? Okay, in the back here.
Hello, I'm Nobuko. I'm representing National Institute for Information and Communication Technology here today. Thank you very much for your informative presentation. I wanted to ask you about the mention of university libraries or librarians maybe having the limited capability for research data management. And I wanted to ask you the nature of that incapability? Because I'm kind of facing a similar situation in Japan. And is it the technical capabilities you're facing challenging, or is it inertia of their culture, not trying to challenge new things, or what are the sort of capabilities that you are feeling limited?
I think the primary reason is that we have not invested enough in data stewardship in our own institution, because we do not receive recognition or funding from the research organization. And the research organization do not allocate that kind of resource because the funder do not have a mandate given to the research organization that you must support researcher in internal RDM or DMP. Yeah. So it's more like a lack of top-level political motivation to get it through.
Okay, so it's maybe the delegation of the work, job responsibility, so that they become motivated to learn new things.
In short, there's not sufficient recognitions for the importance of research data management and research data infrastructure in Taiwan for now. But things are moving better and better.
I don't think it's unique to Taiwan. I see similar things happening in Japan as well. Yeah, thank you very much.
With just a few minutes left, let's open it up to any questions for any of the speakers. Okay, in the back here.
Hi, I'm Brian Minahan from Orchid. I have a question for Suni and Willie. Just curious, your data management plan tool, is it called RIBI? Is that what you said? Is that it's like a software?
Okay, it's not hosted in a software on its own, but it is residing in the grants management system that is using the vendor's software by the name FIBI, VB. Yeah, it specializes in grants management.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you like it? Does it work? Does it do what you want to do? I'm just curious to see what your experience.
Yeah,
at
sad to
NTU
say I don't have a choice.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, but pros and cons. Why the pros? Because it is tied to a grant. So it comes with carrots and stick. The carrot is you submit a DMP for the grant for the newly approved funded project. You submit a DMP, it gets captured in the system, and then hence after the account creation can follow up. I mean the financial accounts creation. So that is the pro. The cons is because we are looking at fairer, the E and the R now. So we are looking at the greater need for agility to really take care of the additional, like maybe email triggers, additional workflows, or additional forms to follow up, or additional questionnaires because of all these data security, export controls, research security, cyber security, and it's like everyone's throwing something into the pool now. So everyone's asking for additional follow-up, especially when the data meets the classified or the confidential or all those new requirements. So not quite there yet. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, and time for one last question. Okay, sure.
I just wanted to find out if there's anybody from University of Queensland in the room.
I guess not. I don't have anything bad to say, but if we did, I guess this is your chance. And I don't see any, I'm just looking to see online. I don't see anyone putting their hand up.
No, what I just wanted to mention, I was visiting them last year, and we were discussing the e-research environment at UQ. And they were telling us that they've got almost a 90% uptake in terms of their researchers participating in the RDM services. And I just wanted probably somebody could enlighten us in terms of what they have done to have such a successful uptake.
Yeah, so that does sound like something to learn more about. Okay, well, we are at time. I think we can acknowledge there's a lot going on in the Asia Pacific to watch. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences, your knowledge, models that all of us can learn from. And thank you all so much online and those here in person who are with us today. Another round of applause for all the speakers.